folks. Welcome to another episode of my workflow. Today, I am working on a public domain character. For those of you out there who might not know what that is, that's a character originally created by someone some time ago, but is available for anybody, the public, to use in their creations. And the creator of this character, her name is Jenny Everywhere. That's the name of the character. And she was created by a comic book artist named Stephen Wintle. Yes, and she was created, when was she made? Let's see here, I'm going to look her up on Wikipedia. Yeah, her first appearance was early 2002. And she has kind of tracer-like abilities. Actually, that's kind of something I'm adding on. It just makes sense to be, another representation of her powers. She is someone who can go everywhere. She exists everywhere. And that is very interesting. You can draw a lot of other powers from that, like she's able to exist everywhere in time and space. So my rendition, my reimagination of this character is that she exists everywhere and can go into different worlds. She has adventures in different worlds. This is the first time I've ever drawn her. I only kind of discovered her a few weeks back when I was looking for ideas for a comic book. That's around the time I came across Black Terror as well. Well, I knew about Black Terror a long time ago. He's one of the Golden Age superheroes, and I started writing something. And the thing about my writing process, or my creative process, is that once I get the gears flowing, I tend to pump stuff out. I tend to write a bunch if I'm writing something, and the thing I'm concentrating on might not necessarily go as fast as something else that pops to mind. It's as though, as I said, as soon as you get the engine running, all of a sudden my writing juices are flowing. So this Jenny Everywhere story came out way quicker, way smoother, and way easier than the Black Terror idea. So the Black Terror comic is kind of on hold right now because I already finished the Jenny Everywhere script, and I am currently storyboarding it. So what we're looking at here is my first sketch concept art of the character. At the time of this recording, I know that I'm going to be changing a lot of stuff to fit more what I've created in the story. But nonetheless, this is a very, very good sketch, very, very good illustration. You'll see by the end of the video. I like it, but I'm going to change her appearance quite a bit. So once again, her powers are kind of like Tracer from Overwatch. I find that very interesting, the way she moves around, and she's got a great attitude as well. But Jenny is kind of a little more sour than that. So she can time travel, she can space travel, and therein lies her character flaw, because being able to go anywhere at any time, what keeps her in one location, what keeps her true to an adventure, right? So she is a hero, so she's out to save people, to solve problems in situations as much as she can, but she does have a tendency to flake out. So she's a bit of a flake. So this story that I've come up with finds Jenny Everywhere on a planet called Terraclips. It's a planet that has a moon that covers the sun way more than ours does, creating almost a constant state of an eclipse. It creates a 10-year eclipse on Terraclips. So where the adventure begins, we find Jenny on Terraclips, and everybody is being turned into statues. And there's this huge golem, this huge stone golem, that smashes up these statues, which is kind of terrifying. You know, it's like a Medusa effect. But going further, this golem comes and smashes these statues, these people, because the petrification only lasts a day, right? So when the sun comes out the next day, people thaw out from the petrified state and become human again. So Jenny has been stuck on this planet quite a while, trying to solve this problem. You know, trying to stop this stone golem, and it's very difficult because every time she smashes off its arms or smashes its head, the golem just reforms, it reconstitutes itself. So it's kind of a Sisyphean task. As I said before, I've already finished the script. I'm really, really proud of it. I'm really excited about it, and I've already started storyboarding the comic book, which is grueling. You know, creating something out of nothing is very, very difficult, as most of you artists out there know. But it's great. Like every time I finish a page, it's really satisfying. But it's going along well. So Jenny's on this planet, and I chose this concept because it contrasts Jenny's powers. Jenny's able to go anywhere at any time, but these people aren't. They're actually being turned into statues, right? So, you know, it's a complete opposite of Jenny's powers. So the story centers around Jenny trying to come up with a solution to this problem, to find out the source or who is controlling the golem, because golems are created by someone for nefarious purposes or whatever reason. And so she's trying to find out who is controlling this thing and trying to rescue as many people as possible. But she's stuck between a rock and a hard place, excuse the pun, because every time she confronts this golem, it's basically hopeless. She can't get anywhere, while this golem is just attracted just to statues and destroying these statues. So she's caught between fighting golem or rescuing as many people as possible. And I think that also adds to Jenny's flaky character. It creates a conundrum for her, because she often just has to abandon her mission because the golem is destroying the statues and she cannot rescue the people quick enough, every time the sun rises. So she's really internally torn up about that. Eventually Jenny does meet a girl, and the girl is without her parents, so Jenny tries to get her to her parents, and a whole bunch of interesting things happen. I don't want to spoil it right now, but I am working on a comic book, and it's so far so good. I'm really enjoying it. With regard to the influences of this story and Jenny so far, I already talked about Tracer, but she's kind of like a Doctor Who character, and the major differentiating aspect of Jenny from Doctor Who is that she doesn't have a time machine. She doesn't have a wooden telephone box, and she can only travel by herself. So she can't take anybody, and kind of zap away with that person. So her powers are limited to just herself. But I really do like the companion aspect of Doctor Who, hence the girl she finds in this story. And there's going to be a great reveal regarding the girl and the world. So Terraclips, a little bit about the world of Terraclips. It's kind of like an ancient Egyptian-inspired world. So the huge statues everywhere. It's called Terraclips because it's terra like earth, like grounded, and eclipse because of how often the eclipse happens in this world. So the whole world, there's statues everywhere of goddesses. They worship a goddess that she's illustrated all over the world, holding up a moon, because that's the most predominant thing in their world. And every few months, they have a celebration, the eclipse celebration, where the eclipse lasts for 10 years. So this creates an interesting situation, a good organic conflict, I find, for Jenny to deal with, because now she has to get to the bottom of the mystery before this eclipse happens. Because if the eclipse lasts 10 years, then the stone golem will have all that time to destroy all the statues, hence wiping out the civilization of Terraclips. I'm pretty proud of that aspect of the story, because that's something I find often missing in my writing, or in the writing of amateurs or beginners, is the clock. There's a concept or concepts in writing called the 3 C's: the contract, the clock, and the crucible. Right? The contract is, what is the mission? The clock is how long it's going to take, or what's going to, the time limit, right? The countdown. If you watch any of your favorite shows or cartoons, there's always a countdown to intensify the situation, to create tension, right? And the crucible is the consequences if the character doesn't fulfill the mission, right? So the crucible in my story is the fact that if the eclipse hits, and in this story, the eclipse is going to start tomorrow, by the next day, the end of the day. So throughout the comic book, I'm showing the moon moving into the position of the sun to block it out, creating that sense of tension and time running out. So Jenny has to figure things out before that happens. As I mentioned before, I'm going to change a lot of stuff with this character concept I've come up with. I'm going to take quite a bit of reference from inspiration from Tracer from Overwatch, because I want her costume to be practical and something durable, maybe a little bit of armor, something a little more superheroic. Right now she looks a little too casual. But I like the way this turned out. I like the line work of this. So I'm really excited for this story. It's a pain, really, storyboarding this stuff right now, because you never know what works and what doesn't work. And I've really come to appreciate references, right? And another thing is, I rarely draw heroines, female heroes. It just instinctively, I just gravitate right towards drawing a hero guy. So that's another good thing that came with choosing Jenny Everywhere as a character I want to explore. That she's a girl, and so that's gonna make me draw women more and get comfortable with that, so I can illustrate it properly in the panels. Yeah, I really enjoy her powers. There's so much that can be done with her powers, and I'm going to explore it. The way it's going to look in the comic, it's going to look like how Nightcrawler is depicted using his powers. It has there's a black cloud of smoke, and the word bamf, like he's just teleporting from one area to another while he's kicking ass. I really enjoy that. So I'm gonna rip that right off, just to be completely honest. So yeah, this is Jenny Everywhere, and the book I'm working on is titled Jenny Everywhere in the Trolly and the Stone People. Right, I'm going to be self-publishing this, and I will be updating you folks as I go along. So stay tuned, and thank you very much for joining me. Have a good day.